All right. Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. Cubs fans panic. I'll try that again. Cubs fans panic over Kyle Tucker's refusal to accept a DL assignment. The Cubs beat the Brewers. The Cardinals remain mysterious. And Elliott skipped Tuesday's show for a Trent Reznor concert. All the baseball, soccer, and pop culture you didn't know you needed with our usual sarcasm, obscure references, and podcast sabotage. And I screwed the entire thing up because here's what I meant to say. Kyle Tucker really did have an injury back in June, but refused a DL assignment. The Cubs took the series against the Brewers. And in related news, thousands of Cubs fans have been admitted to area emergency rooms suffering from brief, dangerously optimistic whiplash. The Cardinals, of course, continue to operate in a disparate baseball universe where development is a suggestion rather than a plan. So you ask yourself, why are we streaming on a Thursday? Well, Elliott skipped Tuesday's show for a 9 Inch Nails concert. He promises to make it up with the Music Minute, though making it up may require an unusually feckin' stretch of patience on our part. And speaking of Elliott, Ron, I'm going to bring you on screen here for a minute. Have you ever been told to shit in the dark?
I was wondering what the hell the show promo that you put out there. I don't know.
No, you've never been told to shit in the dark?
No.
Yeah. Well, so I asked because Elliott kindly reached out to me on Monday to see if I wanted to join him for Monday's Cubs Brewers game. And when I politely declined, he responded, and I can send you a screenshot of the edited, corrected text, but the original text replied, "No worries, shit in the dark." This
shot in the dark. Yeah. Okay.
Nope. Shit in the dark.
But that's what he meant to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
It's a trap.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
On into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down. Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. It's Thursday, August 21st, and it's gorgeous here in the Chicago suburbs. So I'm out on my balcony with Old Glory on my right, and Kyle Tucker's injury melodrama has Cubs social media lighting itself on fire. The Cubs themselves won 3 of 5 against the Brewers, and the Cardinals are doing whatever it is the Cardinals do this season. Elliott, of course, wasn't here on Tuesday because he chose Trent Reznor over you, dear listeners. But don't worry, he's back tonight to make up for bailing on the show by giving us a Music Minute review of the concert. And yes, we'll still let Ron talk soccer because, well, just because. So follow us at Team of Rivals Pod on all the usual platforms. And if you enjoy watching 3 grown men process baseball, soccer, and pop culture with sarcasm, obscure references, and occasional acts of podcast self-sabotage, reference the cold open to tonight's show, we stream live on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. So peck or slap that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next meltdown. Joining me tonight, the co-founder of TOR and number 171 on C70's 2024 Top Cards on Twitter, the kind of ranking that makes you feel important only in a very small, sad way, Ron Nuttall, and the man who skipped Tuesday's show to scream along with Trent Reznor, owes us a Music Minute, and yet we still call him permanent occasional guest host, Elliott Dewey. How you doing tonight, fellas?
Doing well.
Good.
Doing well enough. It's been a long week, man.
Yeah.
Long week.
Well, that's because we didn't do a show on Tuesday. It normally breaks the week up well.
True.
But,
It's
you know,
true.
Elliott went to a concert.
That's fine. I forgive that. You know, we could have done it just you and I again and probably pulled it off. It's always a little bit. Elliott always, I think, ups the game for us a little bit.
He does.
Do my best.
Yeah, he's a good addition. All right, so let's get right into it.
Okay.
In the midst of sweeping a doubleheader last night over the best in baseball Brewers, the Cubs managed to overshadow their very own success by basically confirming Pat Murphy's speculation on what we had talked about all along. And by we, I mean everybody in Cubs land. Kyle Tucker indeed was injured. It turns out that he had a hairline fracture. Gentlemen.
There's an expression out there that, you know, somebody teabagged my Cheerios. I mean, pissed in my Cheerios, teabagged, whatever. Probably the same.
Teabagged it too.
Yeah.
Somebody pissed in my Cheerios, and I think that's the news you got last night.
Yeah, I don't think it made Cubs fans feel any better either. I think it actually made them feel worse. Like, why would you let him continue slumping for 2 months, knowing that he had a hairline fracture in his hand? And you could tell that instead of hitting line drives, he was rolling over everything. So there was some effect that was having on him in the way that he was playing. Now, granted, his June was really good, even though they played 500 ball.
When did he break his hand, Elliott?
I think it was the beginning of June.
Right. And he still tore the cover off the ball in June, right?
Right. So, but what happened? Now, what changed between, was it the way that it healed? Is it still bothering him? Is he still in pain? Like, we don't know this because they're not answering questions. It's not like the NFL where you have a report every week about who's injured.
Okay, now
except if you're a Lovie Smith Bears and you got bullshit all the time. Yeah,
that's right. Now, to further add some spice to this, I'm sure you caught it, Ron. I know Elliott caught it because you couldn't. Kyle Tucker refused the DL assignment when the MRI came back and showed that he had a hairline fracture, and it's not your typical hairline fracture. Apparently, it's right back here. Right where the pinky finger and the ring finger come together. So it's not like a typical one on your finger. It's actually more in the hand, right? Doesn't matter. They wanted to put him on the DL. He refused. And so they acquiesced to the player. So guys, I'm going to challenge you. Please explain to me why this is the front office's fault, because Cubs Twitter has completely sided against the front office. Whoever was involved in this needs to be fired. Why would you cover this up? Please explain to me why this doesn't land squarely on Kyle Tucker.
That's where my blame, my initial knee-jerk, my gut reaction goes to the player. And one, guys, is because, for one, my son had a hairline fracture on his throwing hand and couldn't play the entire season. Like, lasted 2 practices, broke it, hairline fracture, and it's little league, right? So it's not like it lasts 6 months like baseball does, but he was out. You're out because of the vibration of the bat. Now, this is little league, aluminum, metal, composite, whatever it is, right? So maybe there's a little bit more vibration in non-wood, but there's still vibration. Mm-hmm. That's a bad thing for any type of fracture. I'm not a doctor, but I can't see how that does any good. I also think it's a stupid decision on Tucker's part because, one, you're in a walk year. If you had you were playing great up through the end of June. So if you have to sit out a month or 2 months to let that thing heal properly, you really think that's going to hurt your value going into the off season? You're going to hurt your value by trying to play through it and then playing like shit.
Well, and I think this is my speculation, is the reason that he refused it is because he was thinking, I'm still putting up good numbers. So I've still got a platform year, and I can prove I'm the team guy, right?
Yeah.
I refused the assignment because I was there for the team. I didn't abandon the team when we were playing well. I played through an injury. I can put up even better numbers if you sign me.
Well, I still think, and Elliott, sorry, I don't mean to jump in here. I'll let you go. But I still think like the player's agent should have been hell bent against should have been advising him up and down, and maybe he did. It's a player's decision ultimately, right here.
Is it though?
It is. It is. It's in the CBA. It's different from other sports.
So coach can't say, "Hey man, the doctor's recommending that you go on the IL."
You can bench a guy. You cannot play him. You can play shorthanded like they did the last 2 days.
Yeah.
You cannot force him to go on the IL.
I still think from being a player in your walk year, if you had sterling numbers up through June, you have a bone broken or fractured, whatever, hairline fracture. You have that, right? That's not a soft tissue. Hey, this guy's injury prone. You break something, it's usually caused by, hey, I got hit by a pitch, ran into the wall, like some kind of freak accident like that. That is not going to hurt your value. If you had to miss 2 months of the season, that's not going to hurt your value. You still was going to get a big payday at the end of the year. How you jeopardize that is try to play through an injury like that and end up having numbers that aren't great. He's going to have a full season of numbers that aren't great, but if you would have had a season due to a half a season due to a freak injury because of a fracture, he's not going to miss out. So that's why I think it's dumb. Secondly, and I do understand why some people blame the Cubs front office, but I get it, Pete. That's the rule. Then they can't force a player to go on the IL, I guess. But yes, I don't see where that's coming from. I get the frustration though. Like, why didn't the team just bench him, tell him no, you're not playing? I understand where that comes from too.
And I understand.
They're also trying not to piss the guy off in a walk year. So
exactly, and that's why everybody who's like, "Why would you cover this up?" We were hoping to sign him,
right?
Keep him here. We're going to throw him under the bus. Hey, Kyle's got a hairline fracture, and we'd really like to DL him, but he refused the assignment, so we're going to play short until he feels better.
Oh, they would do that in the Premier League,
right? Yeah, exactly.
We talk
right?
about.
I mean, that's something that like the Florida Marlins would do because they don't want to sign a guy to a big contract. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Here's my speculation.
That like a fiddle.
Yeah. Here's my speculation is it's the walk year and him not wanting to go into contract negotiations with the possible perception of being injury prone. He already lost time last year with the shin injury. He didn't want to have a second year in the row where he was dealing with an injury, and all of a sudden the whispers start coming out. You know what? Maybe this guy's another Carlos Correa. I'm not saying that's a justified concern, but I could see it being a concern for a player in his walk year.
Anytime a team can find any reason, it's like an insurance company. Anytime they can find a reason to pay you a little bit less or charge you a little bit more to insure you, they're going to do that. So I get what he might have been thinking, but I just think that I don't know how did he get the fracture, guys? Do we even know?
Sliding into second base.
Okay, so that's
head first.
Fine, but that's not the same thing as a guy who constantly has elbow and back issues.
Right.
Yeah. These two separate injuries from two separate things.
Correct.
Right. And they're events. Like a player gets hit with a pitch on the inside, right? Gets hit on the wrist, breaks his wrist, is out for 4 months. That's totally different than a guy that has a chronic knee issue.
Right. Or a guy who's already had 2 Tommy John surgeries.
Or back injuries like Anthony Rizzo had.
Anthony Rizzo, right.
Yeah.
Which is why he's not playing this year.
Correct.
Broken bone or soft tissue, there's a huge difference between those types of injuries. So,
all right. So, Elliott, I can tell, and I'm sorry that I had you there in the big screen and we were talking over you, but I can tell you don't fully agree. So, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's annoying that this happened in the way that it came out. I feel like the team, I feel like fans would have been way more understanding if they would have been honest about it up front and just, say, hey, he's been dealing with some pain in his hand due to a hairline fracture, but he's going to continue. We've all agreed that, he can continue to play through it, that we feel that that's not affecting the way that he's hitting. But we don't know that. I mean, they could just to kind of coalesce, ease fans' minds or whatever. It just would have been better for them to be upfront about it because I think fans would have been way more understanding. So, but they didn't, and it came out through an ESPN leak, and now fans are annoyed about it. And then the Cubs had to react and then sit him for a couple of days during one of the biggest series. And then fans are even more annoyed because the two guys that you have in there right now, in Matt Shaw, who's hitting the cover off the ball, and Owen Casey, who is showing out and doing everything he can not to go back down to AAA, are hitting and, scoring runs and putting the Cubs in a position where you got Tucker, who is rolling over everything and hitting it to second base. So
Well, I think at this point, the Tucker thing is no longer an injury. I mean, it's been 2 months. They say it's healed. Yeah, it's the 6 inches above his shoulders.
It's the biggest muscle in the body is injured right now.
Yep.
And he
Our
just
friend
needs,
Mark Littell would say it's that managing that space between your ears. That's the biggest.
Yep.
So, and I think and I think he got a little taste of it on Monday when fans booed him.
Yep.
And I felt awful because I was there, and fans had, it was a hot day. We were getting our asses kicked. Fans' patience were waning, and he rolled over on another ball to second base for like the 3rd time in a row that day, which kind of gave fans that,
Jason
oh my
Hayward
God, is this Jason Hayward all over again?
So
let
me ask you, Elliot, because I was thinking about it. Actually, it only popped in my head as I was walking home after dropping the lad off. You think this closes the door on Kyle Tucker coming back the last 3 days? And here's why I ask. Okay, here's why I ask. Fans have turned on him. So does that color his feeling about Chicago now? And Owen Casey is playing well. And so does the front office say, we were prepared to go to 10 years, 50 million, but we have a young kid who came up, and after going, what was it? 0 for 6, 0 for his first 6
in Toronto. Yeah.
He hit well. He hasn't been overwhelmed by the moment. Obviously you're going to need a larger sample than just 3-4 games.
Yeah.
But does this make it a little easier does this make it a little easier for the Cubs to walk away from the table and let somebody else push their chips in?
I personally, I think it's stupid to overlook that. I still think Tucker is this is probably this is his first walk year. So it probably has a lot to do with that. Maybe they're in the middle of negotiating a contract right now, and they're not even talking about that. And so he's being affected by that. We've seen that with players too, where they have been affected by the fact they're in the middle of a contract negotiation, getting ready to sign one. And then after it's done, they're finally like the monkey's off the back, and then they start playing well again. So, I mean, we don't know what's going on, but I think both of us agree that this is between the ears right now and something's going on.
Ron, would you want the Cardinals to sign Kyle Tucker?
No, but I know exactly what they would have done in this situation under Mozeliak's command.
Yeah, what's that?
Any inkling at all that they have a cost-controlled major league minimum player that can put up 80% of the production of a star player that happens to be on the roster, they're going to let the star player walk and give the young guy.
They would have traded the star player at the trade deadline.
Well, you might be right about that, Elliot. But if there was the injury, that's going to come up on a medical, and they might not be able to pull that off, right? And certainly want to dump the star player name for pennies because he's damaged.
And any Cubs fan that says we should have traded Kyle Tucker at the trade deadline,
Cucker,
full of shit.
Kyle Tucker.
So
was Tyle over at your house while you were at the Nine Inch Nails concert on Tuesday?
Yes, he was.
Hey, by the way, Ron, because you put that slander out there, I just want to say that I'm gonna stand up for my fellow kinsmen. This was a semi-conscious choice when I chose a shirt for today. Remember, bow ties are cool.
They're not unless you're selling ice cream. It's not like that. You're struggling with that mic tonight.
I am. I'm having a tough time. It fell over. I read the wrong lead in. It's clearly one of those nights. I definitely should not have moved out here on the balcony, but the die is cast and we roll with it.
Yeah, you have to. You can't be mobile at this point.
No. this kind of gives us transition into the next thing, because I was thinking about it, and Elliott, you actually gave a beautiful transition for it. The Cubs in the last year and a half have done well in transitioning their top prospects into the majors, showing patience with them, not panicking when they don't hit well. I mean, you look at Miguel Amaya, Pete Crow Armstrong, Matt Shaw, Daniel Palencia, right? Showing patience with all these really young guys and saying, you know what? We know that they're going to struggle, but we're going to let them figure it out. And their patience has been rewarded. Matt Shaw is the latest success story. He was terrible in the first half. Other than his defense has been spectacular all year. But it's been terrible. And Ron, we're going to need you to come back, because there is a point to this. It's not just all Cubs fluff.
Fine. This is when I usually take my break, but
meanwhile, at the other end of I-55, the team that was long known for its development successes seems to be falling on its face. Have the Cubs just hit a hot streak where they have some extremely skilled players and they're transitioning well? Or have the Cubs finally figured out what all of baseball has known, and that apparently the Cardinals have forgotten? Obviously, we've talked about this guy ad infinitum, but Jordan Walker is Exhibit A. Even now that they're finally giving him some run and having some patience with him, he's not rewarding it. But it's almost like he was already broken. And that's been the story with the Cardinals for a while now. What's your take, fellas?
Well, I don't know how much of it. Well, first of all, it's already been, we've covered it on here before. The Cardinals tried to cover it themselves last winter. We've known that they've done poor for years of evaluating their own talent. COVID took a lot of the instructors, people that were working in the system. COVID, they laid a lot of those people off. They took a step back from all of that, thinking that, we've been doing this for so long, we don't have to pour as much into it. And we got a revenue problem because of, the pandemic and all that. So we're going to have to let some people go, but it's the Cardinal way. So we'll figure it out. We always do. But I think we saw the cracks in the armor way before that, because of decisions like to go with Harrison Bader and to go with Tyler O'Neill and to forego Randy Arozarena, for instance, right? Just one example of many. Let's go ahead and trade Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen for Marcell Ozuna. That seems like a really good idea. So they've made first of all, they took their foot off the gas in terms of player development by having the right instruction at those levels, and then they were just dog shit at evaluating their own players and who they placed their bets on. I mean, they were terrible. If they were a gambling addict, they would have been broke a long time ago. They'd be in rehab. So they're just really bad at it. So I don't know how much credit to give the Cubs over the Cardinals right now, because the Cardinals have went from like 2013-14 to being revered in the league, along with the Tampa Bay Rays, for drafting and developing. I mean, the Dodgers are always up there too, right? I don't want to discount that, but they really have fallen off a cliff in terms of being known to do that well, and they're just terrible. So I don't know how, like, if you contrast that with where the Cubs are right now, I'd probably compare the Cubs to the rest of the league before I'd compare them to the Cardinals. The Cardinals have some repair work to do, and it's going to take a few years to get that ship turned around. It's a big boat. It doesn't turn that fast. And so it's going to take years before that system can start producing again at a consistent level that it was known to do during Luno's reign. And a few years after he left the organization, the effects of his work were still there, regardless of what you think of the guy. He did pretty well in that category. But it's really bad. I don't know what to link it to, Pete. I do think it's arrogance in the organization. They just had it in general. And they were just really bad about judging what they had, and overvaluing, the kids they had coming up through the system, many of them, and then kind of undervaluing those that they shouldn't. So what worse crime can you commit as an organization than getting that wrong so many times. So I don't know where to place the Cubs. I'd have to look at the rest of the league, and that's your barometer. Don't look at the Cardinals for how well you're doing. Look at others.
Elliott, is it skill or is it luck?
I think it's both. I mean, because you're drafting these kids that are 18, 17, 18, 19, some even 14 and 15 out of the international pool. But as you look at it, starting in 2014, the Cubs started really contributing a lot to their minor leagues because they had been known to be constantly missing and not developing any homegrown talent. Now you're starting to see the fruits of those labors. At the same time, that's when you saw the Cardinals start pulling back on their internal infrastructure on their minor leagues, pulling back on the amount of coaches, the amount of people that, analyze that talent, and you're kind of seeing that opposite effect with them. So with the Cubs, you're right. You've got, your guys like Matt Shaw, who you went and got. I mean, you could even say Pete Crow Armstrong. And if anybody says, well, you got them for the Mets, he was in the Mets system for like 2 months. He started at low A in the Arizona Fall League. The Cubs developed Pete Crow Armstrong. They saw it, the potential of the kid. I mean, he was struggling with the Mets in those first 2 months too, but they saw the potential. They brought him over and they developed him, So yes, him, Pete Crow Armstrong. You got guys like Jackson Wiggins. You're seeing Cade Horton, having in a successful year, being thrown into the starting rotation when you didn't expect to really have him in that rotation this year. You were probably going to have him as relief pitching this year and then maybe work him into next year. But with the injury to Justin Steele, that sped up that process. So
speaking of Cade Horton, and this flashes back to an episode that I think it was just Ron and I, because you weren't here. Cade Horton had that insane game where it was what I say it was, Ron, 67 pitches, 56 of them, 54 of them for strikes, and they pulled him after 5 2/3 innings. That was the game that my son and I were at. Meanwhile, Jameson Taillon comes off the IL and Craig Counsell lets him throw 90 pitches. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? Cade Horton has started, 16, 17 games? And you pulled him out after 67 pitches. I know he's young, but you're halfway through the season. He's clearly proven that he can handle the load. And then you let a guy come back off IL and immediately throw 90 pitches.
I don't think he's thrown over 80 pitches this season at all. No matter how well he was pitching or what inning he was in, I think I don't see the reason to. Yes, we know he hasn't pitched that many, but he's been throwing.
He's probably going to be your ace in a couple of years.
Is it a pitch count thing, guys, or do you think the analytics department is more like, hey, if he gets the third time around the lineup, he's in trouble?
I think it's both.
Yeah. Now I will say the beginning of his tenure, when he did start pitching, he would get in a little bit of trouble that third time through the order.
But everybody does.
But everybody does. It's just how you manage it and how you work through it. I mean,
and that's what makes an ace.
Right. You look at Imanaga today. He threw great. He threw into the 7th inning, and I think it was the 4th time that he was seeing batters today into the 7th inning, and he got through it. So it's how you manage it.
Yep.
So
for anybody, I think, who would question whether or not the Cubs have turned the corner as far as their player assessment and everything, I would not only say Palencia, PCA, Horton, Shaw, Owen Casey, Jackson Wiggins, right? I wouldn't just say them. I would also bring up all of the players that Cubs fans lost their minds over the winter that the Cubs signed, who have turned out to be pretty shrewd signings and have overperformed what we expected. Colin Ray, Drew Pomeranz. A couple of years ago, Jameson Taillon.
What's a shrewd signing?
Matt Boyd.
I haven't seen one of those.
Reese McGuire, Carson Kelly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys that the Cubs have not only the minor league players that they've signed, but also the major league players that they've signed.
Michael Bush.
Yeah, even Chris Flexen, who up until the wheels fell off, overperformed what anybody expected. Right? Colin Ray was supposed to be your 6th through the 8th starter, but he has been serviceable. He's been their 5th starter, and more times than not, he has provided a valuable start. I'm not saying he's an ace, and I don't think that that's what the Cubs expected of him.
He'll give you 6 strong innings, and he'll keep you in the game. And as long as you're scoring runs, you should be able to win that game when he's on the mound.
Exactly.
Is it
that's a shrewd signing, Ron.
I think there was a point in time when the Cardinals had several.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's what we're talking about all the time about their devil man.
That's why we would get so upset with you, because you get this guy.
I'd say the closest thing this year to a shrewd signing. You could argue Phil Maton. They did flip him for a couple minor leaguers, right? So he had a short stint, but yeah, if you look at it, I don't know. Maybe Yariel Pozo might be the closest thing to resemble a shrewd signing.
The most recent one that I would think of that would qualify as that, and it's been a while, is pre-extension Miles Michaelis.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
His first couple of years when he came, right, everybody was like, you're signing this guy from, was it Japan or Korea? Doesn't matter.
He was coming back from Japan or Korea.
You're signing him back from Asia, whatever. And he was great the first couple of years, and then they extended him. And
they did their classic extension when you maybe shouldn't have done that. Yeah,
sell high, sell high.
They do
All
not.
right, boys, let's get into more pleasant talk. This isn't pleasant at all. Rob Manfred said that he is now that it would appear that all of the ownership questions have been resolved. We know that Tampa Bay is staying in Tampa Bay. We seem to know that the Athletics are definitely going to Vegas. Now Rob Manfred said that his priority is expansion in the near future. 32 teams, and the natural consequence of that is divisional realignment. Thoughts?
Yeah. A lot of these. So if we think back to NL West, NL East, right? That was the thing that when they introduced the 3 divisions, when it went to the East, West, Central, oh no, what's going to happen? We got over it real quick, and our minds transitioned really fast, and it wasn't a big deal anymore. We went to a DH in the National League, and I know so many people who were so like grumpy. They didn't want that style of baseball. But at this point in time where we are right now, is it a big deal anymore? It's not. I do think, though, that a shakeup, similar to what other leagues have done, it is curious. If you split up, and I saw those maps, and they didn't have St. Louis and Chicago in the same division anymore. I think that would be a huge
blasphemy.
mistake. And here we go again of trying to make St. Louis and Kansas City a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, and it's not to disparage Kansas City at all. I actually admire the Royals. I love their stadium. I don't hate the Chiefs. Maybe I'm annoyed by them, but I don't hate the Chiefs, and I have nothing against the Sporting Kansas City soccer team either. But I just don't care.
Right.
It's always been a heated thing between St. Louis and Chicago in terms of baseball, and I don't want that to go away. That would be unfortunate.
It'd be a travesty.
It'd be unfortunate, and everybody, would. Sorry,
no, you're good. You're good.
I'm kind of rolling here, so I can't quit.
Nope.
It's like I can't stop mid P and
don't interrupt him. He's on a roll.
I can't stop once I start it. Sting. It's off of Dumb and Dumber if you didn't know.
Animal House. If you don't,
everybody's going to get wet all over themselves because Yankees and Mets are in the same division now. Great, so we'll get inundated with that. I think splitting up the St. Louis Chicago thing, Pete, may be the only issue I have with redrawing the map. Is I just don't want to see him do that.
What I was kind of getting out there is I think putting Kansas City and St. Louis in the same division is like putting the Cubs and the White Sox in the same division. Don't do it. It's dumb. They need to be separated. Keeping the Cubs it's the oldest rivalry in baseball. Why
it's
would
not,
you?
But it's one of.
It's one of, but it's. I just think it would be such a loss for baseball that it would be awful. So
Yeah, and then
you want to put the Twins in the NL Central. That's fine. They don't have a rivalry. Nobody cares about the Twins. That's fine. I wouldn't mind playing them.
That's
15
true.
times a season.
There are teams out there that just don't have a rival. They have to kind of make it up in their head. They're against the whole damn league. They don't have that one.
The most logical rivalry to create for them would be the Brewers. They're the closest team.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep St. Louis, Milwaukee, Chicago, and then Minnesota. I mean, that would make sense.
I'm happy to give Milwaukee back to the AL Central.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the biggest mistake that they could make, and obviously we've seen I've seen at least 3 different ideas from him.
Dude, they need a Norris division, Pete. That's the thing. Norris division,
although they got rid of that.
I know.
That was one of hockey's biggest mistakes.
I loved it.
Getting rid of the Campbell and the Adams conferences, and instead of making them West and East, and getting rid of all the old Norris division. And right now it's Central, and you've lost your heritage. And I hope that baseball doesn't do that. And that's the thing that I'm afraid of. I've seen a couple of them where they wanted Eastern Conference and Western Conference. No. You need to keep your history. You need to keep National League and American League. Those need to stay. You cannot get rid of those, because then you're getting rid of AL record and NL record, home run record, stolen base record.
Yeah.
Because now it's just MLB records.
Well,
you're ditching that. Totally. And the other thing that they need to not do is they can't lose a lot of those historical rivalries. And it's not just Cubs Cardinals, although that's the most egregious one. That seems to be the one that most of these guys on the coasts care the least about, because it's the first one that they're ready to throw out the window in creating these. 2 of the 3 realignment maps that I've seen had the Cubs and Cardinals in different divisions. And that's a huge mistake.
Yeah, no.
But there was one I saw where they had a division, and I think it was Jim Bowden's map, which is just stupid. It's 8 divisions. Initially, I thought that I would like it, but the more I think about it, the more I hate it, because you're forcing some rivalries. And also you're giving, like, if you went to 8 4-team divisions, Atlanta is never going to lose, because it was going to be Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Miami, and like Charlotte or Nashville. Okay, so Atlanta's going to win the division for the next decade. No matter how bad they are, they're going to win that division, because they're not going to have. Yeah, they're not going to have any competition. So great, good job. But I saw one, and I think it was that same one, where they had a Southwest division, and their idea was to have it be the Dodgers, the Padres, the Angels, and the Diamondbacks. So we're going to get rid of the Dodgers-Giants rivalry.
What an exciting division that was.
It has a rivalry that goes all the way back to New York.
Yeah.
Both of those teams were in New York. They moved out to the West Coast. And because you think you're smarter than the received wisdom of hundreds of years of experience, you're just going to throw away the Dodgers-Giants rivalry.
Yeah, and Pete, let me give you a little ray of hope here. It might be the diameter of a straw, but the fan backlash on the uniforms last year. I'll tie this together in a second. The fan backlash on the uniform last year, they changed it. Mm-hmm. If hatred is there and it's that big, either they won't do it or they'll revert real quick.
Yeah.
So that's the only ray of hope I give to the fact that this league actually listens to the fans.
And there was another dumb idea that I saw that put up that basically made the National League like a West and South conference, and the American League a North and East conference. It's like,
don't do that.
What are you doing?
Yeah, don't.
Baseball is not a national sport. Never has been. It's always been a regional sport. But you can't do that. You can't make half of the teams in the South and the West and the other half it's not basketball. It's not hockey.
Yeah, because basketball is doing really great right now.
Yeah, exactly. And basketball really is like that.
Honestly, guys, here's my wet dream of redrawing the map, and I'm just going to focus on our division and who's in it. I think it would be lovely if you had St. Louis,
Cooper.
Maybe they'll find Kyle Tucker.
St. Louis, Screw it. Both Chicago teams, Detroit, Minnesota, Milwaukee. Basically, you have the NFC North. Throw in Cincinnati. Kick Pittsburgh out. They're too far east anyway. They shouldn't even be in the damn Central.
Yeah, they should be in the East.
So you'd have Cincinnati, St. Louis, both Chicago teams, Milwaukee, Green Bay, and Minnesota. And there you go. That would be a damn fun. I'm sorry. I think that would be a damn fun division.
Yeah, if you go as far east as Cincinnati and as far south as St. Louis.
You got it.
That is a great division. And then use that kind of logic to put together your Eastern division, put together your South, put together your West.
I'll continue a little bit to the West, and you guys tell me what you think of this. But then you go like Rockies, Royals, the two Texas teams, and maybe Arizona, maybe not. But you'd have maybe a little pocket there that would be in close-ish proximity. Mm-hmm. And then you go all those West Coast teams and let them just hump each other out there. Who cares? I don't know. If I had to redraw the map, I'd do something to be like, okay, this is a little bit more regional. Remember NL East and West, like Cincinnati was in the West. Yeah. And so was Atlanta.
Right.
How stupid was that?
Well, but
think these ideas
but think about it. The reason for that is because they inherited the Brewers spot. They used to be the Milwaukee Braves. Yeah. And it kind of made sense that they were in the West at the time.
But it made sense because St. Louis was in the East, and geographically they were farther west than Milwaukee.
Yeah, I know. Right. But remember, it was the NL.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they never
Earth is on a tilt, Ron. Actually, Milwaukee was always farther west than St. Louis. But yeah, okay. During the summer months. Yeah, it gets silly, but I would expect. I hope the younger generation does not make that decision to redraw the map, because they worry me.
I will tell you, I think that, and there was an article on this, but it had already been discussed years prior. I think we're going to end up going back to 154 games in the season, which I don't think would be a bad thing for baseball, because the math works out better. If you have 16 teams in the division, just the way that you set it up, the math works out better for 154 than it does for 162.
Yeah. Pete, I think you are right. And I was against this several years ago. I remember talking to my brother-in-law, because he's always been an advocate for fewer games. I'm like, yeah, but that's money. And that matters. And they're not going to want to get away. Yeah, that sponsorship money for 162 games is pretty significant. But now that the landscape is changing so much, we don't know how we're going to be consuming baseball in 10 years.
No. That
I do believe that when you create the more event type of thing, and Pete, it might even need to be fewer games than that. When you start, now I get it, records and things will be affected because, fewer games, there's some records that won't be broken. I get it, but we're gonna have to get over that. I look at some of these other sports that I'm paying more attention to, and like, it's more of an event thing, and there's more of a fervor. There's something to be said for that.
And you might be able to get a better quality of baseball, because if you think about it, if you work the numbers out, you can keep the season the same length. You just schedule an off day every week.
More off days. Yeah.
Every week, a team has an off day.
Well, you imagine playing like now this is far out there, and I don't even like the sound of it now, but I was just thinking about this. Imagine if baseball only played Friday through Sunday and maybe 2 games in the middle of the week. Or hell, just like Thursday through Sunday. And that was it. And that was kind of your set thing. A little bit of breathing room. That's a lot fewer games. I get it. It's revenue. Yeah. It's fewer people at the park buying concessions and all that stuff. But if it is fewer games, instead of putting 25,000 in your stadium all week, each day, what if fewer games brought 45,000 people to fewer? You know what I mean? So it might, I don't know. Just there. It's more of a possibility, I think, going forward. So I agree with that notion that there probably should be fewer.
And here's what I would, just in looking at the maps, just to kind of put a bow on it for redistricting or realignment.
Redistricting. What have you been watching this week?
I've been reading Duke's comments here on YouTube.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
I think that this pretty much puts the nail in the coffin of any speculation that Charlotte's going to get a major league team. I know that they're making a push for it, but I think Nashville has a much stronger bid. And I don't think that you add two teams in the southeast part of the United States. I think this immediately vaults with the A's moving to Vegas and Tampa Bay staying put. I think this immediately moves Portland to the top of the list for potential expansion. It balances things out geographically.
I do. If I was somebody like I had Bezos type money, and I just wanted to own a American sports franchise, and I was like, you know what, baseball's fine. I will do that too. Nashville would be one of my first targets. Charlotte is going to be hard because you're going to be blocked by the Braves a lot.
Yep. But
don't forget, you're right there on the doorstep of Orioles and the Nationals as well. So
and Cincinnati, apparently.
Don't open that tonight. Yeah. So, but I think it's too compacted. Charlotte is a transient community. Certainly there are locals here, but even the Panthers, and over time, all that stuff might change as people relocate out here and the next generation grows up here. Like that could all change over time. But I think Nashville seems like the most, in terms of like east of the Mississippi, I think Nashville's the obvious choice. Now, whether they can convince the city of Nashville or the county to fund another stadium, because I think they're redoing the Titan Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. That might be a roadblock that they're up against. But Nashville seems like the obvious pick to me, which wouldn't make Cincinnati happy, and it wouldn't make St. Louis happy because a lot of their fan base was pulled from Kentucky, Tennessee, just because of the reach of KMOX over the decades, right? So, I mean, they wouldn't love that, but
and Atlanta too. It's not terribly far from Atlanta as well.
Yeah. The Braves would like any of that, but
I'm sure the Braves would be a little unhappy. But if they're an AL team, if you add that team to the AL,
yeah, true.
That protects all of those teams.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's still base. It's still baseball fans, but yeah, I think Nashville's more obvious to me than Portland. But that West Coast region, you lived out there, so you know that better than I do. But yeah,
I think the only thing that would give the ownership pause is the relative insecurity of Portland over the last 5 years and how it's kind of become anarchy central.
What was that documentary? Was it Portland that had the baseball team?
Yes.
The independent baseball team.
Kirk Douglas played for?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Sorry, Kirk Douglas. Yeah, that was wrong. Kurt.
Yeah. And they have a great AAA ballpark right near downtown. But things have kind of descended into anarchy there. And so I'm sure that will give people pause, and they're going to want some assurances from whoever the ownership group is, but also from the local politicians and the state politicians that they're going to get their shit together and clean up Portland streets. Yeah. Because even when I was there 25 years ago, wait a minute. Was that 25 years ago? Moved there in 2001.
Okay, so it was only 24 years ago.
Okay, fine, 24 years. I rounded up.
Another lie.
When I was there, when we left there 22 years ago, was that better? When we left there 22 years ago, the Central Plaza of downtown Portland, which should be, a community gathering place and should be beautiful, it was already a shit show then. And it's only gotten worse.
That's a region of the country I've just not been to, like the far north west. I just haven't been up there.
Same.
Oregon is where all the hippies went to retire. They had their heyday in California, but when things got too expensive, they moved up to Oregon.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think I told you this, and if not, this just adds a little bit more color to Pete's career arc. The first day that I went to work out in Eugene, Oregon, I walked past their little downtown plaza, and there was a cyclone fence up around a big tree. Oh. And as I walked past, I looked up in the tree, and they had a protester up in the tree. So they had put cyclone fencing around. This was, rather than get him out of the tree.
To protect the protester or the tree?
Rather than enforce the law.
Oh.
The city of Eugene put cyclone fencing around the tree so that he could stay up there. And he had a bucket that he ran up and down the tree to his supporters, so that he could empty his shit.
How long was he up there?
I think he was up there at least a week.
Why was he protesting?
Oh my God.
It's not like I stopped on my way to work to ask him.
Didn't ask him?
Hey, what are you doing up there? No. What are you pissed about?
Well, in the bucket.
And the bucket. Didn't bother to examine the bucket either. Didn't want to get the bucket overturned on me when I asked him what he was doing there. So I just put my head down and kept on walking.
Hey, who gives a shit? And he dumps it on you. Anyway.
All right, boys. I think we've run the table on baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Okay. How excited were you guys about the opening drive of the Bears preseason game on Friday?
Oh my God. Look, I don't want to overreact to a preseason game because I'm usually not interested.
Or I'm sorry, not Friday, Sunday night.
Right. I'm usually not. I texted you guys on this. I'm like, did you guys recognize that team? Because I didn't.
I texted, I don't believe what I just saw.
I know.
That's a Jack Buck line, right? From the Kirk Gibson home run. But no, I agree. I looked at it and like he didn't miss a pass in that opening drive.
Oh, he missed one, didn't he?
He was 5 for 6.
Yeah,
the guy kind of dropped the ball, though. It wasn't like
yeah.
No, you're right.
But his there was only one penalty on the drive's a holding call, but they immediately overcame it. And it looked like, I know the commentators were talking about it a lot, just the time.
There was a pocket. There was an actual pocket.
Yeah. Did not realize
the problem. That game, yes, there was a pocket. You're right. But he let go. It looked like his timing was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, soon as
he
the
could step up. He could step forward. He didn't have to cut his throwing motion short.
All of his passes were under 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. That's my point, Elliot. And like, I think he was getting rid of the ball quicker and the timing was better and the timing was down and they had a good game plan going in. Now, again, this is preseason. I'm not going to have a premature. Where the hell did he leave?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, fine. I'm not going to have a premature ejaculation over the Bears on a preseason game. All right. I'm just like, it is what it is. And I know it's preseason and I don't know who. It was the Bills defense, so I don't know who wasn't there that would normally be there, but they look great. I mean, it looked really good. I'm like, oh crap! It's got me a little bit more excited for the Bears to start playing. I want to see what they do under Ben Johnson. I mean, so far so good.
Yeah,
and what little I've seen, because I don't like just like spring training, guys. I don't get too worked up about results in spring training, and I don't want to overreact. I'm just. What you see in preseason sometimes in the NFL, the first teams are usually out there the first couple of series.
Sure.
You get a little bit of a preview or sneak peek or a little bit of a tease of what you might see. What I saw on Sunday, damn, I'm like, this could be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, when we've watched preseason football, even with the second team, these last how many years, it's always been a shit show. And even the second team seemed way more organized and way less penalties, and it seemed like everybody knew what they were doing compared to the clusterfuck we saw under Eberflus, under Matt Nagy. I
think you're right, Elliot. I think you said it perfectly. Like, everything seemed more organized, and I even flipped back to it like in the second half. I'm like, yes, it seemed more organized. Like there was a plan, or at least a better understanding about what they were trying to do than what we ever saw under Flus.
Yeah, I will tell you, I think other than the hiring of Ben Johnson, which item number one, right, on the whole revamp of the Bears this offseason, item number one is hiring Ben Johnson. He has completely changed everything about this Bears team. But I think the one thing, and it's not one thing, it's three things, more than anything else this offseason, was the revamping of the interior of the offensive line.
Yes.
And it had been so long since the Bears had a quality middle of their offensive line that I had forgotten what it looked like. But Elliot, you said it. There was a pocket. And look, the Bears haven't nailed down their tackle situation.
No.
But when Caleb Williams or Tyson Bagent or whoever is taking the snaps for the Bears, knows that they're not going to have defensive tackles or defensive ends on stunts right in their face, that's got to create a whole lot of comfort to know that they just need to pay attention to the guys on the edge who are coming for them. Because, and if he needs to, he can step up.
Well, and the other thing too, Pete, is like, I forgot about this, but that was a record number of sacks for a quarterback in a season.
68.
So I like how we changed the eye line, right? It's like equivalent to climbing the ladder on a batter, right? Set their eye level low,
yep.
Start throwing higher, and they go after it. And it's the same way, like with Caleb Williams, I imagine. Like, he might not have the best protection, but last year was so awful. And so now he's trained to he's going to have to do shit quicker. And if he's just got a marginally better line, everything is going to feel better, I would think.
Yeah, he's probably not worried about where the next sack is going to come from. He's going to be able to read first, second, his third receiver, in whatever order depending on defense that they're running and stuff like that
this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw
about not only a sack, but which sack is in my face because I've been on the ground 60 seconds.
Yeah. And we saw a hint of it also just in the play design. It was something that you never really saw over the last couple of years, but that you did see in Ben Johnson's. There were a couple of plays where the personnel package and the way that they were lined up was identical. But the routes that the receivers ran out of it were vastly different. And that's something that the Bears haven't done over the last several years is they haven't had formations that built off of each other to set expectations for the defense and then to trip them up by doing something that they completely didn't expect. So that was refreshing to see. And obviously we only got a taste of it. So I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm tempering my expectations though, because it is the Bears.
Yes.
And maybe this coach breaks that
breaks the mold.
Breaks the mold. Yeah, exactly. And so I think we're gonna see a lot of action from the tight ends too, I believe. I think
that is super exciting. What's it called? The 12
personnel.
12 personnel where you've got your two tight ends set, and then if you wanted to, you could run both of them out if they're in like a nickel package.
Yeah, and the thing is, you take that secondary whose focus is all on DJ Moore or Dunze,
right?
But now you throw a couple of good tight ends. Komet, we know he's capable.
Yeah,
capable under a shitty system. But imagine maybe what he can do with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing on a weekend.
And you now have two tight ends who are both faster than any linebacker for the most part.
And one of those guys will probably line up as a wide receiver on occasion.
Yes. Yeah. And that'll be Loveland. That's definitely more Loveland's thing. But you think about it, you have two tight ends who are perfectly capable, but also do very different things, right? For a tight end, Loveland takes...
I was going to say Lovelace, Pete, and I think that was...
Yes, you're right. It is.
I don't know how I know that name.
Linda Lovelace. And I think I know how you know that name.
And I think one of the other cool, exciting things that happened, again, this is preseason, but was watching a receiver make a block on a run play. Holy, like he got in there.
No block, no rock. He said, okay.
Yeah.
And did you see on at least one of them? I don't know if it was on both of his big blocks, but he had that one big block on one of the runs. The very next play, he was the primary receiver. Yeah. It was like Ben Johnson was rewarding him. All right, rookie. Nice block.
I see you.
Ball's yours.
Yeah. So,
well, I like the willingness to get them all involved too. Like spread it out.
Yeah.
I don't care if any Bear receiver, running back has the most yards or the most touchdown catches. I'd rather see it spread out.
Yeah.
Because that's a more dangerous team.
It is.
Yeah. And you've got the receivers this year to do it between Zacchaeus, Rome, Luther Burden, DJ Moore.
I so much more love.
I mean, it's crazy.
I love so much more this year after what's transpired that they drafted a Dunze 9th last year.
Yeah.
How much better does it feel this year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, whether it was luck or being good doesn't matter. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
That's true.
And so, yeah. All right.
All right.
I might have to buy the Sunday ticket again. But every year I do.
Maybe I'll buy it so that we can get your voodoo off of it.
Every year I buy it, I get my dick kicked in by week 4.
That's right.
And
All right.
Once you buy it, you're locked in. There are no refunds.
I mean, look, we're already an hour in, but we knew we were going to go long. So, Ron, I know it's late, but we know you want to stick around. I didn't want to solo Elliott. I wanted to solo me because we're going to transition from football to football. Newcastle outclassed Aston Villa, but couldn't score thanks to the Isak drama, ending in Ron's favorite kind of frustration, a scoreless draw. And St. Louis City lost to the Chicago Fire. And yes, the Fire sometimes play at SeatGeek Stadium when Soldier Field isn't available, a fact that Mr. Big Soccer Fan somehow forgot on his other podcast. You know what this all means? It's time for Ron Soccer Minute.
Oh, look at that. The time is totally correct on that stopwatch, too, because it's not going to be a minute. It might be 88 seconds. Second time the Fire and St. Louis City have met. They fell short. They lost 3-2, but it wasn't a terrible loss. It wasn't one of those that makes you feel bad. They were actually up at one point, 2-1, let an equalizer by. In St. Louis City fashion this year, which has become kind of a disturbing trend, they tend to give away late goals. So as an opponent, you never lose hope against City because they lead the league after 60 minutes. 70 and 80, they're the team to score on. So not sure what happened there. But it wasn't a bad game. I mean, they looked at about the same form as they were the week before when they actually beat Nashville, which is in the 3rd place in the Eastern Conference and is a really good team, but they beat them 3-1. So, they dropped it to Chicago Fire. Chicago maybe matched up against City a little bit better. Or maybe Nashville was just way out of form the week before, but it was an entertaining game. It was fun to watch, but St. Louis came up short. Nothing to complain about. However, my Premier League team is in the most drama that I've ever seen. And when I thought Baseball X or Twitter was awful, I think that English soccer Twitter is 10x. It is. I'm not so emotionally attached to it that if anything offends me, I've had a boatload of fun watching it. So I imagine if I grew up in England and I was a Newcastle fan, I would be absolutely miserable right now with what's going on just with social media and fandom. So it's been a really interesting thing to kind of follow this year. But Newcastle, Pete, I know we talked about it a little bit last week. Nothing's changed. Alexander Isak is still holding out. Newcastle saying no, unless some team club pays $150 million transfer fee, you're not going anywhere. And both sides have held their stance. Isak finally made a public statement that suggested there were promises made to him, not official, not in writing, promises made to him that were broken. So they broke his trust, and the relationship can't continue. A move is appropriate for not just me, but for all involved. The team came out.
Unlike sports here in the United States, Newcastle immediately came out and said, "Bullshit! We never made any promises."
Yeah, they did. They came out and responded pretty quick.
You would not see that in America, except for Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones would absolutely throw a player under the bus.
Sure. Yep. But who knows who to believe here? Isak is Swedish, and there's the question: is there really a loyalty to any English team? Liverpool turned his head, so they put a bid in for him. And
Ron, for those who don't listen to both podcasts, I thought you and Chris did a great job on the podcast. So explain to the novices in our audience, What does it mean that Liverpool turned his head?
They express interest in the player, put in a bid.
They do more than express interest.
Oh,
right?
yeah. This is so different than American sports here.
It's tampering.
Yes, but it's fine and everybody's okay with it. It would be like this. Let's relate it to our audience here. Let's just say
let's use Kyle Tucker. I'm sorry, Tyle Cucker.
Fine. Well, no, because he's in a walk year. Isak has 3 years left on his contract. We're gonna go with Pete Crow Armstrong.
Okay.
Better comparison.
Sure.
It would be like the Cardinals publicly stating that they're interested in Pete Crow Armstrong right now, today. And agents reaching out to Pete Crow Armstrong's agent about, hey, what are your personal terms? If we trade for you, what do you want? Oh, he agrees to them. Good, we got him locked in. Now we go negotiate with the club. What do you want from us? Because we already got your player interested.
And I thought Chris gave a good example of it too, is that a lot of times what teams will do because of the fair play restrictions is they'll reach out and they'll say, well, look, we can't match what the Cubs are offering you in your extension. But what we'll do is instead we'll give it to you as a signing bonus.
Yeah. So in soccer, the difference is there's a transfer fee. Right. So in baseball, we don't know what that, right? It's just pure trades or free agency, right? Or a compensation pick if you sign one of my free agents that was perfectly able to sign with you. In soccer, it would be like, okay, Pete Crow Armstrong is in his walk year, spring training, but Cincinnati wants to come in. They want him for that final year. So they're going to pay the Cubs $80 million to move Pete Crow Armstrong over to their team. Now they could renegotiate the deal, so maybe he stays with the Reds for 4 more years at a certain salary. The other interesting thing in the Premier League is they call it weekly wages. They don't talk about an annual salary like we do, which drives me absolutely nuts. It's like I make 150K a week.
Yeah. When we were talking about I looked it up. I think when Ronaldo or currently Ronaldo's making something like $500,000 a week.
I know, but it's still, guys, I'm telling you, when you compare it to like baseball salaries, it's still laughable.
It is. It's less.
So that's why baseball fans that don't know about this are snooty about it. Like,
yeah,
you don't have anybody on their club that makes $25 million a year. Well, that's because baseball's stupid, and we went. Now they play a lot more games, right? Like 37 or 39 games versus 162. Yeah, there's a huge difference, but it's been a learning curve for me. But I can't believe it's a norm. It's a norm that's been established. So you can use the media way different than what happens over here. Now it still happens over here, but not to that degree. Like these clubs and these agents will use the media, their contacts in the media to it is a case study on how to get a narrative out there. And they do it masterfully. It's easy to see through, but it's still like good drama. It's like watching a goddamn reality show that you know is not reality, if I can put it that way. So anyway, Newcastle plays Liverpool on Monday. The team that's interested in Isak and has partly caused all this drama. So there's no way Newcastle will ever sell him to Liverpool before that game. The transfer window ends on September 1st.
And it's going to get crazy next week.
I think if the transaction happens, it will definitely happen after that game because there's no way Newcastle wants to see him on the pitch.
Not specific to Isak. I'm talking about the closing of the transfer window. The closing of the transfer window puts Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL's trade deadline sucks, and the NHL's trade deadlines all rolled into one. It's
for us treasonous Americans who split off from England. What the transfer window is going to be like if it was in our world, it would be like the NFL trade deadline, the NBA
and free agency,
right? Well, free agency and the Major League Baseball trade deadline all happening on the same day.
Yeah.
That's what it's like for them. And
Yeah,
so
it's gonna
that's
be
why
crazy.
it's so passionate. Yeah, it's
Yep.
crazy.
Oh, and I screwed up. I'm going to go ahead and admonish myself. I said Ronaldo's weekly wages are $500,000. That's absolutely atrociously, egregiously wrong. He makes $4.5 million a week.
Oh, he's got Saudi money right now, though.
He's got Saudi money. He's the highest paid footballer in the world, and he makes $4.5 million a week.
And he's the highest paid. He's definitely not the best anymore.
No, not anymore. No. Hard to say. I don't think that there's a consensus anymore on who the best player is. For a while, I mean, there was a healthy debate on whether it was Messi or Ronaldo. That's gone away. There for a couple of years there was a consensus that it was Mbappe, but
well, they're in their 30s, both Ronaldo and Messi. Right now, many would tell you that the best pure striker, number 9 scorer, is Isak.
Yeah.
Probably followed closely by a couple others that are either in Europe or.
But that's the funny thing, right? Is that only like 2 years ago, hands down, there was no question it was Kylian Mbappe. And he's suffered since he moved to Real Madrid, which is a surprise. You would usually think that a player moving from PSG to Real Madrid would raise his profile, but that hasn't happened.
But it's. I mean, in our sports, it's the same thing. Like,
you're right.
It's
Juan Soto.
It's a style of play. It's the mix of teammates. Like, you never know. I mean, baseball at times you can think it's a very individual contributing sport. You know, you're up to bat. You're not depending on your teammates when you're up to bat,
right?
Or when you're fielding or you're pitching, or in soccer, your teammates matter so much more.
Yeah.
At every second.
It's a lot more like football. Baseball is the outlier, right? Football, hockey, basketball, you're relying on even in an outlier like Michael Jordan, you're still relying on your teammates.
You have to. Yeah.
You can only do it on your own for so long.
Baseball is the closest thing to tennis or golf.
Yeah. Because
there's so much individual time there where it's all on you.
Yep.
You're not relying on anybody to pass you a pitch to hit over the fence.
Right.
It is, so yeah, it's a situation, style of play, mix of players, how they mesh together. Like, it matters so much more in those sports that are constant action.
Yep.
Which
all
is
right,
probably
fellas.
why soccer fans that grew up in the UK hate baseball.
That's right. That's right. Elliot, do you have anything meaningful to contribute to this conversation?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay.
I did watch the final 40 minutes of the St. Louis fire.
Wow. So you stayed up late. I have to say, Ron, I felt bad for you. I was out at my dad's. They had a block party. We were hiding out in the pole barn, avoiding the storm. And I looked at the radar and I thought, ooh, it's already a late start for Ron. It's going to get even later. That game didn't start until what, like 10:30 your time?
Yeah, it started late. We were up till 1, but we had half.
I thought they were going to bang the game. I really did.
Half the neighborhood was over here, and it started, so we watched it. Nobody paid attention. I did as much as I could, but no, it was a good game. I loved that they did not play in Soldier Field, and I think
and the reason why was because of the Bears game.
Yep. Yeah, and the Fire are getting a new soccer specific.
They've announced it. Nothing's happened.
Happened yet? Okay.
But they've announced it.
Well, anyway, I like
where it'll be is right on the river in downtown near Union Station.
I like that they played at a smaller venue though.
So so SeatGeek Stadium used to be Toyota Park. It was where they originally played when they started the team in Bridgeview. It was purpose made for the Fire. They played there for 16 years or something. And then when they sold to the new team, they moved Soldier Field in 2020. And so that has been their primary stadium, except when Soldier Field isn't available. And obviously the Bears are always going to take precedence over the Fire. So,
well, it was funny because I even forgot at first. I'm like, why are they get renamed SeatGeek? And then I remember, like, wait a minute, dumbass. They were playing in a complete different stadium when you were watching it last night. So I had that whole failure of, like, is it a new sponsor? Are they taking sponsorship money now to name the stadium?
They rename it every time, right? Like it used to be with the Jets and the Giants, right?
Right.
When it was the Jets, it was Well, whatever. Anyway, they share the
Meadowlands.
stadium, but they call it something different when the Jets play there.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that at all. Yeah. So I've never understood how the Chicago Fire could be so terrible. Like so consistently terrible. They should be competitive.
I think bad choices. I mean, plus they're in Chicago, so they follow the other front offices of the Bears and the Blackhawks. Like, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I think they've made some bad decisions on players like Shaqiri, bringing him in and paying him too much money. And there are rules in all these leagues about how much you can spend. I mean, there is a cap in the MLS. Even though when you compare the dollars to the Premier League or the EPL, it's funny. Like we got all excited about $1 million transfer in MLS. Right. You're talking like 100 million,
half a billion,
right? In other divisions, but yeah, I think they've placed a couple gambles and used up a lot of their
and they always come up short. And they haven't helped themselves too by Ron. You and I have talked about this on the side, but they haven't helped themselves by alienating their fan base. They have their previous ownership actively made moves to annoy their fans, to basically run them off. I don't know.
It's just it's like why? Like that's who you need. Your fans that are there in the beginning. When let's face it, like soccer is like it might be behind racing.
Yeah,
in this country.
It is, absolutely.
It absolutely is. Yeah, what am I talking about? It absolutely
between
is.
IndyCar, but especially NASCAR, 100%.
But you got to keep your originals around. You got to keep them interested. Don't insult them.
No,
they know the most. I've found that out. Like
yep.
how little I know compared to people that have been following this for decades. But there is something in American soccer though that's I don't know how to describe this, but the purists remind me of like music snobs. You know, like when you start taking interest. Well, how long?
He's not talking about you, Duke. It's okay.
No. But they do. They remind me of music snobs where, you like the team I've liked for decades. Oh, they must have sold out. Well, I don't like them anymore. Like,
I like them.
I get that vibe from the soccer community here in the U.S. that they were small, so they felt like they owned something and special. And when outsiders come in, hey, you like the NFL and Major League Baseball? Why are you in my space?
Right.
When you start liking the same thing they do, they tend to fucking pull back and really like come down on newer.
Yeah, they're very precious about it.
I think the mindset they should be in, like, oh, others are interested in this. Well, that's great. Like,
we need more of them because that's going to make it easier for our team to get better.
But the MLS groups and fans, they aren't there yet. They're in their elite space because they've been there. It's their thing. They don't want others in there. They don't want it to turn into tailgate parties like we have in football. And
they would rather maintain their niche. All right, taking a quick swing over to pop culture because we promised him that we would do it. It's time. Elliott finally returned after ditching Tuesday's show for a Trent Reznor sing-along. So in an act of reluctant restitution, he owes us a music minute. Let's hear about the concert, the vibe, and why skipping the show apparently now counts as show content.
My first time seeing Nine Inch Nails, that was the big reason why I wanted to go. It was awesome. They do super cool light show. They actually have 2 stages that they perform on because a lot of half their music is synth and then half their music is with the full band. So they'll do a lot of their synth stuff with Atticus Ross and their opening act called Boys Noise, who is a DJ. They'll do a lot of that synthesizer stuff in the middle, like small stage, and then they'll shift over to the main stage for like their bigger songs, like The Hand That Feeds, and had like a whole like the big kind of rock music stuff songs that they do. So, but it was great. It was a great lineup. It was like a 95-minute show. They don't do an encore. He always ends with Hurt. But he did a cool cover of David Bowie's I'm Afraid of Americans, which was it was super cool. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Would definitely go see them again.
Where was the concert at?
It was at United Center. So
you didn't want to get a drink? I mean, you weren't going to do the show. The least you could have done is said, "Hey, why don't you meet us for a beer?"
I did. I went with 12 people. So
okay,
there was a big group of us. We met down at Billy Goat Tavern before the concert. Had a couple beers, grabbed a burger, headed to the show. So, but yeah, I mean, their light show was super unique. It's like they had like a mosquito net surrounding the entire stage, but it was like multi-layered in the way that they use the lights to put like all this funky lighting and stuff like that, like shined on it. So it's like you could see it where it stopped at the netting. And then there was like pictures and stuff like that they would use that would go with like the music. So it was super, super cool. So
top 10 concert of all time.
I'd say top 15.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been to a lot of concerts. I've probably been to, over 100. So since my teenage years, I saw my first concert in 1993. I went to Luther Vandross with my parents.
Huey Lewis in the News, 1985.
I've seen Huey Lewis in the News. I've seen the B-52s. I saw, Santana.
Sha Na in the first year of Milwaukee Summerfest.
Oh,
nice.
My last concert,
Backstage.
Vlogging Molly 2014. Out here
that's the last concert you've seen.
Yeah. Not a concert goer, man. I enjoy him, but Mac, our old friend.
Yep.
Duke knows him too. I went to a couple Pearl Jam concerts with him.
Saw them last year. Just saw Chris Stapleton a couple of weeks ago at Tinley. That was a fantastic show.
And Elliot, I could go to a million concerts out here in Charlotte. It's just
Yeah, I think my last concert was probably 2021 Vintage Trouble when they rolled through Chicago. I think that was the last time I saw a concert.
I want to say probably one of my most memorable was probably X-Fest 2005, when the closing bands was Korn, Snoop Dogg, and Linkin Park. I mean, that was just it was during the Revolution tour that they all were touring together.
Is that the most eclectic lineup you've ever seen?
Dude, it was crazy. It was crazy.
It's like Whiplash. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I got one that can top that. When I was in college, my frat brothers and I drove up to Tinley and caught the Zooropa tour. Started open with Big Audio Dynamite 2, then went to Public Enemy, and then to U2.
That's awesome.
Then went to U2.
Yeah, Big Audio Dynamite 2. Public Enemy and U2 in the height of the Zooropa tour. So Bono and the big bug-eye glasses and the shiny leather suit.
Yeah, when I was in college, I at ISU, I saw Jack Black, and then the closing act was Weezer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have any stories like that, guys. The last concert I went to was a very small venue, the Music Factory here in Charlotte.
Okay.
Logging Molly. That was it.
Oh, yeah. No. I haven't been to a huge concert in a long time.
Yeah.
Although Freddie Jones Band is going to be up at the Genesee Theater in, I think it's September or October. I may head up there.
Maybe Duke practices with the band here, so he might be playing in Bloomington at some point in time. Maybe we meet up for a Duke concert.
Oh,
and that'll be fantastic. our first in person.
First, all in person.
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely up for that. All right, let's wrap it up. We got one final pop culture thing. Boys, since Elliott got his turn, I reckon I'll jump in too. Been on a hot streak at the theaters lately. 3 very different films in the last couple of weeks. So here's a quick movie minute on what's worth your time, what's forgettable, and what you probably won't argue about tomorrow. Over the last 3 weeks, I've seen Weapons, Nobody 2, and Americana. Weapons was excellent. Couple of scenes that went a little heavy into the gore that I don't think was necessary. It was a pretty disturbing supernatural thriller. I would think that, if you wanted to take the time, take the wife, don't take the kids. Do not take the kids. But Weapons, definitely worth your time. And if you don't catch it in theaters, catching it on the big screen will be fine. Nobody 2, I was intrigued by it because I enjoyed the first Nobody. The whole idea of Bob Odenkirk as some hidden secret agent badass. They pulled it off well on the first one. Second one was just more of the same. So, I mean, it was enjoyable. It was what it set out to be. And so for that, I at least have to give it credit. But wait until it comes out on streaming. And finally caught Americana. That's the new Sydney Sweeney movie. And what is it? Paul Walter Hauser, I believe is his name. And then there are some other faces in there that you'll recognize, but Sydney Sweeney's a big one. The movie was pretty good. Sydney Sweeney was excellent. And this is not
like acting or.
Yeah, her acting was excellent. One, they made her up so that she ended up being very plain. They gave her freckles. They gave her a very unflattering haircut. I mean, she's still Sydney Sweeney, but her clothes weren't, they weren't tight. They weren't showing off her great jeans. But she played a character with a stammer, and it was convincing. The stammer was legit. She was really good.
For her, Pete, I would hope that kind of breaks that thing where people think that the only reason you're doing any of this and the only reason you've had a chance is because of the genes.
Right.
So, that's good to hear.
I heard she was good in White Lotus. White Lotus didn't interest me, so I haven't seen it. But I saw the first, half hour of what's the one that she did with what's his name, where they dated once and they hated each other, and then you know what I'm talking about. She spends half the movie in a bathing suit.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly impressed by that, and I was like, okay, I mean, she's got a nice body, but what's everybody? But in Americana, she was really, really good.
Cool.
Really,
I would actually be interested to see the transition there, to get away from the.
Yeah. But you don't need to see it in theaters. You can wait until it comes home on streaming.
Oh, I will.
Nice.
I always do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. There's Pete's Movie Minute this week.
I watched a couple of things I paid a little bit early to access. So I didn't go to the theater, but I did watch Superman, the new one.
Yeah, I did see that in the theater.
I waited. I've never been a particular Superman fan.
Let me ask you something, because I know that they made a change.
Mm-hmm.
What was the message from Superman's parents on Krypton?
I'm going to get all 4 versions of Superman mixed up here, so I'm going to screw it up. Just tell me.
Okay,
are you talking about this one?
Yeah, in theaters, the message that Superman's parents sent him was, we're sending you to Earth to basically rule them.
Yes.
And that was Bradley Cooper, right?
And it was Bradley Cooper. And what I heard, obviously I haven't seen it, but what I heard is they actually changed that for the stream.
The streaming release, they tell him that he needs to take many mates and spread his seed to grow the Kryptonian line. Yes.
Well, that's what my dad told me. And
to dominate,
and you've done your best.
Dominate humankind.
I've done my best, but now I'm tired.
Yeah.
No, I think that the sent you there to rule them. Wasn't that a manipulated message? It wasn't the real one, right?
No, it was.
In theaters, that was the message.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have made a change then. It's true what I heard. You saw the different version.
I saw both. I saw both versions.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah, I saw in theater, and then I watched the streaming version.
Oh, it was different. The two.
Yes.
Wow. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Because they probably got pushback from fans who said, this is not true to the story.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you know?
Sorry, I probably didn't pay much attention.
A studio being responsive to their audience. Who knew? You could do that.
I haven't heard of one yet. Yeah, no kidding. I think I ignored the dialogue and was like, "Is that Bradley Cooper?" Because it wasn't like full color; it was a hologram.
You know what I have to say, and this is not specific to that movie. I hate that when there's an actor and I'm like, "Oh God, who is that? What is his name?" Because it completely pulls me out of the movie.
And he's a popular one. Yeah, and you're right, Pete, because it took me out of that moment and I was focused on who is that?
Yeah.
Instead of listening.
I know I recognize that voice. He looks familiar. Who is that?
Is that Rocket?
Why
is Rocket in Superman?
Yeah.
Exactly. Why is Rocket? Why do I hear Rocket's voice right now?
Yeah, right.
Or the guy from the A-Team, Face.
Right.
Anyway, no, that was a good minute, Pete. Jealous of the time you have right now.
No, you're not. You're really not. Trust me. You're not jealous of it at all.
Okay, fine. But
trust me. I'll keep you guys updated. There are a couple of movies that are coming out that I'm hoping to catch. So, we'll do this periodically.
Let me ask Elliott this. You've been watching Foundation too?
Correct.
On Apple Plus, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it the season finale or is it the series finale?
Season finale.
Season. Okay.
Yep.
That one's been pretty interesting, but I tell you what, that's not one you can come in and out of.
No, there's way too much going on. You have to pay. You can't have a conversation and watch that show at the same time and kind of know everything that's going on. Because there's I'm watching these episodes twice because there is so much that's going on.
I'm totally with you, Pete. You might be able to watch them once each, but this is one of those shows like you have to midweek. I probably should go back and watch last week's before I watch the new one. It is one of those. It's cerebral and
yes.
My attention span's like a goldfish. So
well, there's a bunch coming up, so we'll see. And depending on if I continue to have some free time, maybe I'll pick up Foundation as my next watch.
It's not bad.
All right.
I've enjoyed that. Did you watch Murderbot?
I saw the
I heard it's good.
It's fantastic.
And funny, right?
Yes, it is great. Like I was like I'm like I wasn't
funny, but I haven't it's a guys, I gotta be real selective.
And they're like 25 minutes long. So they're short. Yeah. And there's only 10 episodes. I think there's only 10 episodes to the first season. Because I knew nothing about it. I just saw it. I'm like, oh, it's a short episode. Let's try it out. I was like, oh, this is good. So,
Pete, before you lead us out,
yeah.
I know we've talked about Andor. You kind of completed the whole thing.
Yep.
Feel the same way, or in retrospect, now that you've had a few weeks here to process it, are you glad you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not enough to bring me back.
I wasn't expecting to hear that, but I'm like, hey, look, that was a good thing to watch.
Yeah, it was worth my time.
Okay.
Absolutely. If I hadn't thought it was worth my time, I would have let you know.
Sure, but when you get some distance away from things.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. Right. We got distance away from episodes 7, 8, and 9, and they've only gotten worse in the rearview mirror.
I'm telling you right now, what's validating about how bad they are. The kids, when they come out here and they want to watch something, and my daughter, for some reason, has wanted to watch Star Wars movies. None of those.
Right.
The pick is the originals or the prequels.
I tell you, and that's the mistake I think that Disney made. And this crystallized for me when I was listening to somebody else talking about pop culture and talking about Disney's apparently they're making an effort.
If you wanted the show to end, I just added 15 minutes to it by bringing it up, but that's fine.
Apparently Disney's making a concerted effort to appeal to Gen Z boys, ages 13 to 28, right? And they're talking about maybe we need to make original content than making all of these, all of these spinoffs. Because if we can catch them when they're 13 to 28, then they become habitual moviegoers, right? And in the course of it, it really crystallized for me exactly how badly they screwed up, because they turned us off. And because they turned us off, and my son is exhibit A on this, They turned me off so much that I'm not passionate about getting him hooked on it. And you know this, for a while there, he and I were every night before bed, we were sitting down and we were watching
Clone
another
Wars.
episode of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do that. He would, before bed, he would say, are we going to watch Clone Wars or can we watch one more? And he gave up because I think that he sensed that I had given up. So if I wasn't going to put the effort in, why should he? And I think that that's where they screwed up is they didn't service us the way that they should have. And because of that, we're not bringing our kids
Well, and there's always
into
been
the family.
always been this backlash, and I've heard this comment come from that side of it. These middle-aged 50-year-old white guys, we're not making Star Wars for them anymore. Well, fine, I get it, but we have kids too. So, like,
We're also the only ones
we're
with
trying
the
to
money.
bring them along with everybody else to enjoy this.
Right.
But that's what they I don't think they felt like they needed to say that out loud. But why single us out?
Yeah. Why alienate us?
Like we're the problem with Star Wars. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Like we've been there since 1977. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's it for this week's show. Drop us a comment, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and tell your friends. Unless they're Cubs fans, in that case, send a warning first. You can find the show anywhere you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else. And of course, we stream live on X, Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow Elliott at
TOR_Elliott.
and you can find Ron at
Nope.
And obviously, you can follow the show at Team Arrivals Pod. You can also email us at teamarrivalspodcast@gmail.com. Yes, we really check that inbox. And yes, I secretly judge every email. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Tuesday, assuming Elliott survives another concert without ghosting the show again.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear